If Jesus is at this time, he would definitely use camera and cell phone to preach the kingdom of God.
The COVID-19 pandemic has forced people to lock themselves behind doors and has also restricted people of faith from entering places of worship. But thankfully, we have worship in cyberspace, a place where believers have found a way to remain connected to the preaching of God while still being distanced physically. A few months ago, Christians could never imagine Sundays without church. But during this time of social distancing, people are learning the power and potential of technology.
When the pandemic hit us and when we were subjected to lockdowns, we had to close our services in churches, and we were wondering how to reach out to our people in their homes. But we are grateful to God that He has given us technology, social media, the mass media. We as Christians have been so accustomed to worshiping God in the physical space of the church. But then in the midst of this lockdown, we've had to adjust and adapt and to have services online and then to relay these through mass media and social media to our homes.
Minshua shwa kami ke pandemik nyempaju perkat ru la bandong Henry wat kitung bla syutia agentia work bla temen bat ki bapang basitom ru kajinga sengla poi hayeng kajinga sengla wan hayeng joki
pej minakat bangala tang sutunat ken kat bangala ban pej dengan smart ba ni jiseng step pro masih le chen mi no sih le ngali bom la jiseng shoot nda shio hi yang tang sutunat ken.
The cyberspace not only proves to be beneficial for the elderly, but also the kids who are used to the Sunday schools every other week.
You know, now we have a choice of so many services. Earlier you just went to your church, but now you have services that you can choose from, and a lot of parents particularly take the trouble to make sure that their children get some fellowship and some instruction through Sunday school. So I think there is a general rule now that everyone has some kind of fellowship or some kind of Bible study. I've seen even among the poorer sections of the community, they take the trouble to buy phones that can receive some kind of communication so that they don't miss out on their Sunday services.
Meghalaya has an estimated number of 2.21 million Christians, which accounts for 74.5% of the total state population. A large number of this population entered the cyberspace for worship during the lockdown period itself.
The Thatlabot Presbyterian Church, they have I think almost 3.5 million views, and they have about 22,000 subscribers, and they just started I think in the beginning of April 2020, and this is just one church. There are many others here in Shillong, Joai, and in many other places that have been able to make a great contribution to society through their services and through their songs and through their messages that they transmit and broadcast through social media.
This initiative has connected the Christians to the rest of the world and not this region alone.
Ngiran ki parabungai hapo Australia, New Zealand, Canada, but Middle East, but US. Teng nasdang gijing iseng idon ku manre pongot haga Zoom. Tiu ubasdang ga praise worship din Australia. No Australia hanta berdua sedang din po United States. Te baru ang get involved te hagapor bangidang long hagi ying mani ki jingiseng om baru ki wan jingiseng te henrai mentapat haba long jingiseng haying baru ang yesyong lang mentah hagapor long jingiseng habang iyo iye ki YouTube anta ke ting yo skoi ki audio mo ki bakran daring iku aban kering stop shoy gatung isi keren kat tu kat niru anta sasdang biang kala long hagat agurukom. You don't have that access.
Even though most of the people of the Christian community have adjusted to this new medium of worship, there are many drawbacks and challenges that need to be tackled.
Ikan nak kam sempur, yaki Kristan jongi, penyakin yakan di region ni, laban ong Meghalaya berkawai hiru, bakin adab yakan ni kerukom madi, mo. Kiduk nong pada kitu kiba search kinong kendong, siapa ba kimla banyo, mo internet kimdon internet connection situ, wat kidun kiba kidu laban ong, mo. Kiba kot bor ban tiet ke smartphone, nak tara kikwa Henry kimla.
The monsoon season is the toughest season for us to use all this kind of power supplies, and then the network also interrupted every now and then. These are some of the challenges that we had to face.
The biggest difference that I see in Meghalaya is that this only happened during the COVID situation, and but it will be interesting to see what is going to happen after COVID. Like, will we still have recordings at church? But I would hope that they still do. Like in the West, for example, there are quite a few churches that have what are called satellite congregations. But in Meghalaya's context, we still, because of the lack of internet penetration, we haven't seen that sort of worship and church services happening. But I think in the future, it could happen.
Hagajing sisang ila perkhat bangindon kanega channel program nakabalang. Tendai nagajing wan jong kanega pandemic hajing sang ila china ke studio ke barit nang ne bangin record yaki kubor jong kabalang.
Large number of teachers who have been qualified for the Meghalaya Teachers Eligibility Test.
We started the YouTube channel way back in 2015 to give the youth a platform to express their talents, their hidden talents. They have so many talents, and it really boosted them so much. Moreover, in this center, we give them also training in media, in sound technology, in the singing and music, and like that. And so that YouTube channel that we had, it became for them a medium to come out. I believe when if Jesus is at this time, he would definitely use camera and cell phone to preach the kingdom of God. That's why even during his time, he was using parables, stories, to make people understand the concept of God, the concept of love, everything. Therefore, my strong faith, my strong belief is that if Jesus is living now and here in a human form like us, definitely he will be using all these gadgets to preach the kingdom of God.
Clearly, cyberspace worship has attempted to act as a substitute for the physical church temporarily. However, this virtual model of worship may prove to be a new way of social interaction.
Don kum ka rijongi hang no haga jaka haga pertai kat bangal Hashem. Bangidon baga tu ka close knit te. Hapok jong ka society ka jongi. Te hadirin bagawan kan ka pandemic ka impact ka day ngi miss si ka tu ka community life ka jongi. Kabadai ka way na ki dynamics ki bolong very important haka social structure ka jongi.
We may be able to open services in churches in the next month or perhaps in the next few months, but the restrictions will remain in force, which means that only a limited number of people can attend. And so it looks like we will have to continue our online services to broadcast to them.